Afternoon. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about communicating with that individual that you take care of. So I was talking about the power of you and the resilience that is within you. Um, the first thing I talked about was reminiscing and how we all have that ability to tap into good emotions for our well-being because of the things that you have within your system. You already have memories and experiences that can help you to get through these difficult times and feeling disconnected. So I hope you were able to tap into some of that and utilize it. So today I want to talk a little bit about something a little different. I was recently asked a question about communicating with someone who has dementia. So first of all, this particular video, I really want to focus on communicating with an individual who has cognitive disorder and how you can be more effective and feel more successful in the interactions that you have. So I get a lot of questions about this from adult children of patients who have dementia or cognitive disorder of some sort. They will ask me about perseverative thoughts, where someone will just keep asking about something, keep asking about something, keep asking about something, and never seem to get satisfied with the answer. Or they will repeat a scenario that may or may not have actually happened, but it'll be very pressing, and they will want to really drive it home to you that this has happened and it's affected them, and even if you know for a fact that it didn't happen. So there's a couple things at play here. The first scenario is perseverative thought. Sometimes there's a broken record, and you just have to lift the needle and help them do that because they can't. It's kind of that broken record kind of thing where it's just going to keep skipping until you are able to distract them or move that needle. The other scenario is confabulation. So we talk about a person will experience an emotional event, or they will experience something that is very powerful for them emotionally, but may not fully understand what went on, or they may not recall completely the details of what had happened. But the emotion is salient. They're able to remember the emotion. They're able to definitely feel it. So that's salient for them. And they, one thing I like to drive home with everyone that talks to me about this is that emotion is programmed differently than your normal memories. You know, what I had for breakfast may not be so important unless that breakfast took place in the context of some emotional event. So today is my wife's birthday. So today, breakfast was an event because we had her favorite fruit on the table and her favorite yogurt and all these different things that we don't normally buy, but we bought today because it was her birthday. And so breakfast was an event. That's going to get programmed way differently than if I opened up my pantry, grabbed my Quaker Instant Oats, and made breakfast like I always do. You know, so if it's a routine, I'm not going to program that. If it's an emotional event, I'm going to remember that. Now, if I have cognitive disorder, I might not remember all the details or what the event really was. However, I know I was excited. I still feel some of that residual good feeling. And so I'm going to talk about this event and confabulate a story that makes sense with the emotion. So it's very true to the person telling the story, even if it's not quite the event, and that's why we call it confabulation. We're not lying, but the events are invented according to the emotion that I feel. And so if I'm feeling scared or frustrated or angry, I might put together a scenario that makes sense about what's happening. And if you are the POA and they're angry about the loss of independence, you probably understand that you've become part of that story. That doesn't mean that, obviously that doesn't mean that this person, it doesn't mean that you've done these things, first of all. However, you may be the subject of some of these stories. If they feel that you have taken their independence, that you are limiting their ability to choose from themselves, then some of these stories, as you probably have seen, start to be invented around you. And trust me, we as professionals in this field, we understand that. It's a very common, it can happen a lot. And I know it's so frustrating, and I'm so sorry. This is a way to hopefully help you to address the concerns, to feel more successful and a little more efficient in these conversations. Address the emotion. So a lot of times we get caught up in the subject of whatever it is. Let's put together a scenario here, one that I've heard before, where a patient was sure that someone had taken his wallet. They've taken my wallet. It's, they did it to me, and he knew exactly who did it too. And as it turned out, the wallet was just sitting on another table. So the wallet was in place. So we knew that confabulation had taken place. But because that person had decided, this person had done something against me, what we had to do was start talking about what was it they were feeling. They were feeling vulnerable. They were feeling, and we had to tease it out. Sounds like you're feeling a little vulnerable. Sounds like you're feeling, no, that's not it. Okay. Sounds like you're feeling really frustrated with this person. Yes. You're frustrated. Okay. Sounds like this person is doing things that are making you feel frustrated. What other things are they doing? Well, they've taken my wallet. Okay. So you're really frustrated because this person is in your space, and they're doing things to you that you don't agree with. Turns out it was just a caregiver they didn't want in their room. And they were feeling violated. They were feeling like their ability to choose from themselves is being violated as well. And so we were able to actually look at, okay, so what is the dynamic here? Is it this caregiver in particular? And how does the interaction between this caregiver and this person, how is that different from other caregivers? So then we can take it to the caregiver and say, hey, we've noticed that there are some particular personality issues between you and him, but there are less with this caregiver. What's different between your style and their style? Is there anything you can adapt and adopt? We do a little work with that, and boom, suddenly this caregiver becomes a friend. This caregiver is a confidant. This caregiver is someone who's wonderful. And all it is a shift in approach. And we don't get there if we're focused on the wallet, or we're focused on the item that's missing. My hairbrush. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that one. But the little items that go missing aren't as important as the emotional content that the person is telling you about. Especially if you know for certain that nothing is actually missing. Especially if you know for certain that there is some confabulation going on. So listen to the words secondary, listen to the emotion primary. Address the emotion. Talk about what you're hearing. I'm hearing some frustration. It's directed toward this person. What other roles does this person have in your life? Okay, now are there any other people in your life that do similar things? Okay, but you don't mind them, but you do mind them. Okay, so now I can actually start putting pieces together. I can start saying, okay, what is it that you do? What is it that you do? How do you do this different than this person? Then I can actually start moving the pieces, shifting things, and I think you'll be surprised and amazed that when you start addressing the emotion rather than the content, how much quicker you'll be able to get to the root of the problem and help your loved one to solve the issues. It requires a little detective work sometimes, but if you can hang in there, I think you'll be surprised at the things you discover. So that's my little tidbit for today. I think I'm going to go back to some of the resilience things, but I wanted to address this today because this has come up a few times. And especially since we can't be there, we can't walk into the buildings. You're at home, you're stuck. And you want to be in there with your loved one and talk to them and figure out what is it that's going on. But you keep hearing the same story over and over and over again. Address the emotional content and try to get to the root of it as much as possible. You may not be able to get down all the way, but if you can start connecting the dots, sounds like you're feeling vulnerable. Sounds like you're feeling violated in some way. Sounds like you're feeling betrayed. Sounds like you're feeling. The more they hear you reflect those words and reflect the emotion back to them, the closer you're going to feel to them. Also, I would encourage you, don't be afraid to be wrong. And let them know that. I could be totally off base with you here. This could be totally wrong. Are you feeling this? And let them tell you no. Oh, okay. So what are you feeling? Okay. So it sounds like you're feeling this. Is that right? Be okay with being wrong. They want to be the master of their fate. They want to be the one to educate you. And they want to be in that role. So if you are the adult child of someone who has dementia, there's a power differential that's happened. And the more that you can put yourself in the position to be taught by your loved one, that is going to help them to trust you and bring you into the conversation and allow you to be a part of that. So don't be afraid to be wrong. Our parents are used to us being wrong. They're used to that. So that helps them sit back into the driver's seat and feel a little more confident with the role. So I guess what I've talked to you a little bit about today is focusing on the emotion, and also just right here at the end, let them be in charge of the conversation at least as much as allow them to be the educator, and put yourself in a position to be taught, and be okay with being wrong. And it's okay if you don't get any resolve on that first try. Best thing you can do is help them to know that you really do care and that you're trying to understand. And the best way you can do that is by helping them hear that you are actually listening. And they'll feel it when you say, it sounds like you're feeling like this. Is that what I'm hearing? And they get to tell you, no, it's not like that. Oh, really? Okay, tell me what you're feeling. Bam, you're going to be developing that trust again. You're going to feel like they're in the driver's seat. They're going to feel more like the parent, more like the guardian, more like the aunt, the uncle, whatever it is. That power differential will neutralize, and both of you will benefit. All right. So I hope that was beneficial. I'll be back with more. And stay safe and stay well.